Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the podcast 2. Today we're going to talk about guns being shot in space, age group and happiness, documentary I watched, 100 Humans, pretty interesting, placebo effect, positive reinforcement, and work-related production. Preparing for blast off in 3, 2, 1. Here's the show. Well, getting started in this second podcast of mine, I just want to thank everyone that has listened to the first one, and this is number 2. Happy Monday, April 13th, 2020. It's been a journey, for sure. Everyone locked up in quarantine. Hope everyone's safe. But let's get into this topic that the first one I came across was the other day. Happened just because I tagged my roommate in a video on Facebook, which was a video game, because we all play video games in the household, all of us big gamers. It was like this multiplayer like online shooter, but it was set in space. So just so happens we started thinking about things, mainly my roommate, and he brought it to my attention, and we were thinking, what if a gun was shot in space? What are the factors that we can have here? Would the gun even shoot? Would it explode before it even went in the atmosphere? Would it just keep going literally forever? And we kind of dived into things and researched a little bit, and it's pretty interesting. I thought this was a pretty interesting topic, and I thought I would share it in the podcast because it kind of piqued our interest as we were talking about it. It kind of gave us a more what-if situation about everything. So here's a little information about it, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So depending on the placement of where you are with the weapon and the bullet could fire because it still has the oxidizing agent in it, which is interesting. So, but depending on the temperature, it could either be frozen. If it's too cold where you are, it'll become brittle and it will pretty much jam the weapon. And if it's too hot, the gun or the bullets, not the gun, the bullets will actually probably explode before you even get to shoot them, fire them off. And if the gun is shot, it is going to keep pretty much going forever because the universe is ever expanding. It's just going to keep going. Now, we were thinking when you shoot someone in space, the effect it would have, pretty much the person would explode. You know, it would go, if it went through them directly, the bullet would just keep going, assumedly. There's a lot of factors I started thinking, because then I started thinking, what about a spear? What about, we're shooting all types of stuff, a Nerf gun, all this. And it just really, I thought it was an interesting topic because the bullet will keep going on forever with the universe expanding. And that's pretty crazy if you really think about it. Space is just another dimension. If you are a fan of flat Earth, go fuck yourself because you're an idiot. Go NASA, pro not flat Earth over here. So I'm strongly opinionated on that. So you can either hate me or not. But wouldn't it be interesting if we're in space and we have just straight up like shotguns? So you should pretty much have lasers and stuff. I know that they're already in development. I saw something online when I was researching this because I looked up spears and everything like that for shot in space. It's they have some type of let me find it real quick. Spear shot in space. Sorry, I normally have this stuff pulled up before I even do it. But it's here's what it is. It's a rod from God is what it's called. It's a weapon. It's pretty much a self-propelled rocket, but it's you can find it. It's on YouTube. Rods from God. It's another look at it. It's a weapon development. It's like a hammer, pretty much. It's cool. So if you believe in flat Earth, just look at this this video because you can tell the curvature of the Earth and everything. So I'm not gonna argue that at all. I don't even know why I'm bringing up the topic of flat Earth, but it's just people. That's on my mind because people always bring that up. So I'm thinking about it subconsciously, I guess, because I'm hardcore about this and I will stand strongly on my opinion on this. So yeah, that's that. So this is quite interesting, actually. Dropping the atomic bombs essentially forced Japan to end World War II, led to the number of weapons developments. So that brings me to another situation with weapon development. World War II is a very interesting war if you really look into it. Germany had pretty advanced blueprints on certain weapons. How did they exactly find or get these blueprints? It's a conspiracy. They claim that they had a higher power, which I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you could really. There's a mystery there. That's a whole nother podcast that I can have. I mean, there's podcasts are out there already like that. I don't want to waste my time on that, but you already know. But just the evolution that we're going in with weapons, and I think about it. Like if you can imagine if you can have that technology on Earth with a gun being shot in space and a bullet goes forever. Imagine what you could do in a war today if you have a bullet that travels literally forever, kind of like a boomerang, and never stops. That would end everything. Really, you can kill so many people. It just goes through everything, penetrates everything, and pretty much goes on forever. It would wipe out the world. That's pretty crazy if you really think about it. It reminds me of like Men in Black. Like, what is it, Men in Black 3? Or no, Men in Black, the first one. It's got to be the first one when like Will Smith goes into the first time in the agency and he like grabs that little energy ball and all of it, like he hits it and it just freaking ping pongs everywhere. And then like, what's his name? Oh my God. Tommy Lee Jones. Oh, I forgot his name almost. He like catches it and he's like, that's what caused the blackout and whatever, like 1982 or whatever. It's pretty funny. But yeah, something like that could literally. I think the future is very bright in that subject with weapons, but that's technology that we're seeing. But bullets in space, pretty interesting concept if you really think about it. Anything in space is interesting for sure. Now that I've had so much free time on my hands, I've been thinking about life a lot. And it's funny because I started watching a lot of documentaries, and one that I came across is 100 Humans on Netflix. It's a show. I think it's very informational, and it brings up a lot of statistics that I think are very key that we should be aware of because it's a pretty good show. I'm not gonna lie. And one of the things I watched last night, one episode, they were talking about like age group and happiness, like what age group is the happiest, and that made me think of my life, and it made me think of where we're headed and where we're going. Now, many factors may dictate how happy we are in life. With age group, I think that when we're kids, we really don't know anything. So we're just there. And time feels like it goes by, so slow. I remember being in school and you get summer break and it's like, oh my God, like summer break is so long. It's like 2 months and you're kind of trapped in the house. That's why we feel this with isolation, which I have a book actually, Why Time Flies. You can probably pick that up at Barnes & Noble. I think I got it for like $5. It's pretty interesting. I think it's an interesting concept with time. But what statistics show, statistically, in terms of physical appearance, people are at least happy from age 55 to 59. And their happiest years are after the age of 70. So overall happiness peaks at two different points. According to the data, age 23 and once at age 69. People reported the lowest levels of happiness in their mid-50s. Now, I don't know who's listening. I don't know what age group you are. I'm 29. I'm about to be 30. I think I can kind of gauge my life in like a loop, I guess. You go through turmoil, you go through pain, you go through all that. I think the younger years when you're young, like from age, I would say infant to 15, you really don't, those don't count. I would say from 15 to about 22, life was kind of brutal, but I think that's what we go through. And then now, from I would say age 23 for me to now to 29, I know I'm breaking these down in really weird, non-weird increments here, but I think that I've been through a lot, and I think the experience is what trumps it all. Now, if you're in your 30s and you're stressed out, you have all this, I think 30s and 40s are the most stressed out ages because you're pretty much getting your life together. I think that's the statistic there is you're starting a family, you're, under stress, you have kids, you have a sense of urgency of, I need to do this, I have this bill, I have this requirement, I need to supply for this person, I have all this. It's a lot of built up stress. Now, what makes you happy? I mean, the list can go on. For me, it's being active, working out, just no stress involved. that's why I'm doing this podcast, honestly. I mean, I feel like people might not listen to it, or people might hate it, might hate my voice, might whatever. They're going to criticize me, but you know what? This makes me happy, so I'm going to do it. And I think it's an outlet that I use to make me happy. And honestly, I'm pretty happy right now. Even though the world's very grim, a very grim tale right now, but I think I'm pretty happy overall. I'm just grateful for everyone in my life, and I'm grateful for why we're here. Now, back to the show, being with happiness. Doctor's on there. He talks about how it starts off in your 20s, right? It's like your high happiness, and then you kind of dip down and it's like U shape, and then when you get back to when you're like in your 60s, you're gonna get more happy, you know. So it's like kind of you start off in life and you're super happy and you're ready to live, and then you dip down and it's like sinking, less happiness, and it goes back up with age. And that's really true. That's what the studies show. And I think being confident about that, accepting life in terms of how happy you are is what it is. I go in life, I don't expect things. I embrace the uncertainty. So I think that's what makes me happy. Other people are different. Other people are stressing out. Other people are looking into logistics of things, and they are just cracked down. Now, being 29, I would say this 2020, when I went into 2020, I thought this was going to be like the best year of my life. Because I feel like there's few years when I was like certain ages in the past 10 years where I'm like, dude, this year sucked. Or I'm like, oh, you know what? This year was actually pretty good. Like 24, that's like my golden year because I was born on the 24th of June. So I felt like that year was really good. But then 26 came and I thought 26 was really good. Now, since then, I think 29 is my best year I've had because of the knowledge that I have gained. Because I went through life not really seeking knowledge. I was seeking approval, and I think that kind of makes the happiness scale dictate a little bit. If you are just grinding with knowledge, because like I'm not a person that goes out. I pretty much stay at home. I work out. I do my schoolwork. I just kind of stay like a hermit, And people are always out there doing stuff. That's just not me. Like I don't hate that lifestyle. I used to drink a lot. I used to have fun. I mean, granted, we're young. We have to do that, but for me, right now, my most important thing that has me grinding in life is just the knowledge of evolving as a human. A lot of people are going to do that differently. Whatever triggers them to make them happy, that's the way they're going to go to evolve. Now, the mind state is what makes it different on everyone. How much are you willing to give for that? I will sacrifice anything for my knowledge. I think that other people are going to sacrifice different things for their knowledge, which their knowledge, I'm quoting, air quoting right now, and their knowledge could be something else. That it could be money, it could be women, it could be, men, it could be anything you're seeking. A lot of people out there are seeking love. A lot of people out there are seeking just approval, or they're seeking anything in their life to make them happy. So what's happiness to you? That's a question I have for everyone. Leave it in the comment section. I want to know what makes you happy. It could be something so simple. Like my dog makes me happy. My dog Barry, he makes me happy. He's my ride or die right now. A lot of things in life make me happy. Another thing is you have to look around the room. Look around that room you're in. Who are your friends? Which one of them really, makes you most happy when you're around them and they don't bring any negativity into your life? And that brings me into my next topic, which is positive reinforcement. Now, this show did a study about positive reinforcement, which I thought was super interesting because we deal with this in the world and we don't even know it. Now, when you are told something, say you have to perform an act, like you have to do some type of skill, like a magic trick, right? Let's say you have to pull a bunny out of a hat, right? And you're being judged by this magic trick. Now, you don't even know it, but you do it and you think you do good. But then the person that's judging you tells you that was like the worst magic trick I've ever seen in my life. My dog can do it better, or whatever it may be. Now, your mind state is going to change. You're gonna go back in that showroom and be like, why am I even doing this? Why do we even have the passion to go perform magic shows. And you're just gonna get hampered down. Your effort level is gonna go to zero almost. It's gonna dip tremendously. Now, if I went on stage and was trying to pull a bunny out of a hat and I looked like an idiot, but the judge tells me that that was actually really fun and entertaining to watch. I think you have a lot of potential, and I think that you have a great career as a magician. Now, when I leave that stage and I go in the back behind those curtains right there, my mind is I'm gonna be boosted. My ego is gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna do this, and I'm gonna dive more into things. Now, the way I see it is, I was thinking about it, and man, there's a lot of things in life where I've been in situations like this, and it's like it shot me down. And a lot of that has to do with parents, honestly. I'm not saying in my life, but in general, I think that parents do that more than anyone. Parents will shoot you down with your genius idea of what you want to do, and they'll knock you down to a point of which there's no return. I'm sorry about my dog in the background, shaking and jiving back there. But the definition of positive reinforcement means giving something to the subject when they perform the desired action, so they associate the action with the reward and do it more often. The reward is reinforcing stimulus. Now, that makes me think of the placebo effect. When I think of the placebo effect, I really believe the placebo effect is a thing, some magical, desired human advanced thing that we have not really figured out. It's definitely a neurological thing. Like if we're being told something's going to work and our brain goes into overdrive. Now, say we have a disease or something, I think that's how a lot of people overcome them. Once you start getting negative, beating yourself up, saying this is the end, I really believe that that really hurts the body, the mind, and the soul. I'm very spiritual in that aspect. If you look across the world, all these cases of people overcoming certain diseases and just impossible feats that people have came, it's remarkable, and it's their positive outlook. Now, when we engage in some negative reinforcement, that really hurts. And I think that happens a lot in the workplace that I've noticed. Multiple places I've worked, I think that we've all came across it. And now I just think that really dictates on people being happy as well. So all this kind of goes into one topic, of just a life situation of, are we happy when we go into our job? Are we happy when we wake up? Are we happy? And that kind of affects the day. Are we negative? Are we positive? There's no in between. I know some people are just monotone to everything, but the placebo effect is definitely something that's interesting, and the positive reinforcement as well. I think that we can learn from certain situations that we're put in life and where we're going. Sorry if I'm getting deep into like the human thought, but I mean I think that's what these times are for. Realization of where we're at in our lives. I was thinking about it as I was working out today. It made me, I don't know, I was on one because I drank a Celsius. Yeah, I'm pro Celsius. Insert ad campaign here, but I'm really a fan of Celsius. I drink those and I think they boost my mental focus. So I kind of get into a deep state, and my sleep schedule has been horrible lately, not working and working out a lot, and just my body wants to like run. I've been running, I've been working out, lifting weights. Staying active is key, and I think that's what we all should do. We should all take a step back and just kind of move a little bit more. If you're at home sitting all day, don't sit all day. Get up, do some jumping jacks. Jumping jacks are free. You can do it yourself. Push-ups are free. Dips are free. Pull-ups, you can find something to pull up on. I saw something pretty interesting about people doing kettlebell swings with laundry detergent. I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, I should do that. I have laundry detergent here. But let me sum this up. As I was in the gym, my gym, not the gym. I mean, I go to the gym, but it's closed, obviously. But as I was in my garage gym that we constructed, I was kind of on one. And I started thinking, like, all these thoughts. Like, we are more. We are so much capable of more. And seeing people, what they're doing, it kind of makes me angry. It hurts me inside. Seeing how someone lives. Granted, I'm not one to dictate someone's life. I know that's hypocritical, whatever it may be. But that's what fuels me a little bit in life to push a little further in myself and my studies of I want to know where we are, who we are, what we are, why we are. The who, what, where, when, why. I want that as humanity. That's my life work. Now I don't. I'm here. I realized this years ago when I was diagnosed with my multiple sclerosis. The one thing was I was laying on that hospital bed and I was just I couldn't move. I was like, dude, like my life is literally over. I like everything in my mind flashed, and I'm like laying there and I'm looking over to my left. I got my mom there. Of course, she's by my side. I love her to death. And then I'm just like looking up, and football was on, which is nice. I was watching football, and I was like, I have no emotion for anything right now. Like, I wasn't passionate about anything. I wasn't happy. I wasn't even, I don't think I was sad. I was more just in a state of like there. Like, I was a human vessel in this world, realizing that this may be it for me. Like, that's where my mind was going. I was in such a negative mind state, and it blew me away. The turnaround I had. I think that's how we get here to where I am. You have to go through something so traumatic for you. It could be something not as traumatic to someone, but it could be something so traumatic to someone else. You have to go through those actions and those instances of things like that happening to kind of progress and evolve. And that's all what I'm about, evolving. Now, when I really thought about it, and I really wondered why I like thought this way. But growing up, I really think that I put myself in situations that I didn't want to be in. Like, I wanted to be in, but I didn't want to be in. I know that's hypocritical, but it was like, I know this was a bad idea, but doing it, I would learn something. So I would throw myself into situations with people or around people that I knew weren't good situations. Now, at a certain age, you realize there's a limit to that. You could either go something really bad route, or you can go a route that's a lot different. Now, I think that I went a route kind of interesting. I agree that I agree with myself that I have definitely tagged people along in my life that I shouldn't have tagged along. And I think being in a mind state that I'm in now, realizing the adult that I am, I think that made me more of an adult. So thinking about people in my life and the people that I've cut out or whatever, it's interesting. It's very interesting how this arc of humanity that we're going through it could just fluctuate up and down, who you're with, who you're not with, whatever it may be, or people that keep popping in and out. You never know who you're going to meet today or tomorrow or whatever. And a lot of people are freaking out. And I think that's okay. That's something that's going to happen. But I just want to make everyone think about that. Think about your life. Think about where you're going, what you're doing. Think outside the box. Do you have a routine? Is there something that you want to do but you're not doing? Then do it. I mean, this is the perfect time for it. I'm grateful for people that are still working out there. A lot of great people in the industry, staying positive. And yeah, I think that's the podcast, everyone. I really appreciate the listen. I'm not sure how long this one's going to be. It might be a little bit longer, it looks like. But yeah, that was kind of a deeper podcast I had. That's just my mind lately. Being awake at night, really think about some things. You're laying there and your mind starts churning. Got no one around. You're just laying there. You're like, these situations. And then you think about other people's lives and you think about your life and you go back and forth, and it's interesting. And I think honestly, maybe these thoughts are because I took a melatonin one night, a gummy, and like I couldn't sleep, and I had some weird side effects to that. So I don't know if that's a thing that's happened to you guys. You take a melatonin, you can't sleep, and you're just kind of laying there, and then like you close your eyes and you have like these visions. It was weird. It was like I was lucid dreaming, but I wasn't. And I think that like it freaked me out a little bit. Like my mind's just churning, being all this information and stuff. So because I think it's happening because mostly I'm not working as much, so it's like that part of the stress life and my work life and the stress is not there. So I can like have freedom, my creativity, and here I am. So I'm thinking of all these things that I used to do because I'm in school and I have work and I was just like always on the go. I never had really time for self-reflection. Now I was writing poems, but the self-reflection was different when you're super stressed out and busy. So I think that all these thoughts, I think they come to my mind on the daily now. It's back to how I was like, damn, like humanity's a very interesting concept and evolving, and how we've evolved and where we're going is it's so interesting to me. I hope everyone enjoyed the podcast. It's what is it, 5:49 p.m. Pacific time. I hope everyone's staying safe. Shout out to everyone. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. All right. Have a good night. Take care.